Sletterland. He is playing a birthing pod deck, but it's much more of the like go all the way up the chain, getting value the whole time, like Huntmaster, Blade Splice, obviously Blade Splicer, but Huntmaster up to Inferno Titan and Ellistorn. So more of a classic build of the deck.
And as we cut into this game 3, we find a card as Nathaniel is under a pretty healthy amount of pressure at this point. We find a card that we don't see very often in these kind of decks and in our format in general, which is Mimic Vat. And Mimic Vat is fantastic, taking away Draw's Messenger from its Undying ability, stopping a Gravecrawler from coming back, as we see Patrick's favorite card, Blade Splicer, resolving against a zombie deck.
I actually don't, a Blade Splicer, like, you can't win or whatever, but it's an honest card. Like, I don't mind that it's...
Is it honest when it's under a Mimic Vat, Patrick?
It's less honest, but that's a problem with Mimic Vat and not with Blade Splicer.
Okay.
So we have our Cabinet of Souls here are on Angel and Beast. The third one is on,
presumably human.
Yeah.
The third one. So his caverns are working overtime right now.
Yeah. So this is where attacking, blocking, and casting removal spells all become very challenging.
Yes.
When Mimic Vat is in play.
Interesting that Mimic Vat has not seen a ton of play in the format for how powerful the card is.
Yeah.
As we see another Messenger come into play for Raid, knocking Nathaniel down to 14.
It's a little on the slow side, but yeah, once it's online, it's like, are you kidding me? How are you supposed to ever do anything?
Yeah, it's definitely on the slow side, but it makes up its advantage so quickly.
Yeah.
Like turn 3, I'm like not doing anything, not affecting the board, but like once I kill like one guy, like things spiral out of control pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But no good attacks here for a Blade Splicer. Again, the end boss for a zombie deck, as we see a Restoration Angel and a Birthing Pod moving around in Nathaniel's hands. So, from what I can tell, from the cards I can see, he definitely has the cards available to be able to function this game. It's just if he's able to use them in the correct order.
So he just passes the turn, it looks like. Looks like Riyadh just drew a Zealous Conscript. I believe he does not have a 5th land. Also looks like he's got the Thragtusk in hand.
And Thragtusk is a card that he can play off of. He has 4 Woodland Cemeteries and 4 Cabinet of Souls. The same thing he already has two of his Blackleaf Cleaves in play. But for Zealous Conscripts, the same thing, 4 Blackleaf Cleaves and then 4 Cabinet of Souls. So.
Yeah, this is I'm not a huge fan of Thragtusk in this matchup if I'm on the zombie pod. Oh, there is a 5th land.
Okay.
If I'm on the zombie pod side of things, because like trying to win that sort of like attrition-y game on the ground just seems like not going to happen against a pod deck. Just not the type of fight you're suited to have. You might have other cards that are just worse, and whatever, a random Thragtusk can be fine, but it's definitely not a card I would be enthusiastic about drawing in this matchup.
I would agree with that.
And yeah, I think he's just trying to figure out some way to make inroads against this Mimic Vat, which is very challenging to do.
So he's definitely got some options at his disposal, and we'll see what the cavern was named. We'll get clarification from the spotter over there, but he's tapping 5 mana. And he has a Woodland Cemetery in play, actually, and it is naming Beast.
Yeah.
So he has access to all the colors of mana and 5 lands, so every spell that he's going to draw for the rest of the game is going to be castable, as we see Thragtusk enter play, putting Raid up to 25. But again, he's in this situation where he just does not have any good attacks, and we're going to see a Restoration Angel here from Nathaniel.
Yeah. So we're gonna, we're blinking out our Blade Splicer and getting another Golem.
Now I know you have Nathaniel's deck list in front of you. Are there any Bonfires of the Damned looming in there?
He has 3 in the main.
Okay.
And yeah, and a 4th one in the board.
Okay. Because we have an attack with Restoration Angel here, knocking Raid down to 25 and just passing the turn back.
Yeah, because as good as his position is, as good as Nathaniel's position is, he actually can't sit around here all day, right? Like, the threat of a couple of Blood Artists being chained together or just Birthing Pod getting dropped and then him able to engineer some sort of chain together means that it's actually, he actually needs to kind of get a move on.
Yeah.
Can't sit here all day.
Yeah, inevitability is not something that he has.
Yeah, the Mimic Vat is doing a very good job of stymieing the attacks for the time being, but that can easily change.
Yeah, and the thing about Mimic Vat is, it's a card that like a lot of people haven't played against. It's like how I have to figure out like how I have to beat this Mimic Vat. It's not like an interaction I've dealt with a ton. So like, if I attack, like what's going to happen? Like what are like what's like the backlash if I attack and like something dies? Like if my Thragtusk dies, or like do I want to send my messenger in because like I want to have that under Mimic Vat so that I can start attacking like the rest of my guys? Like you kind of have to craft the game. It's like a mini game basically, and it's a mini game that like, you know, you're used to like the Delver of Secrets mini game or like the Geist of Saint Traff mini game, but you're not used to the Mimic Vat mini game. And we are going to see a Blood Artist.
Any attack that he has to make, he needs to be pretty positive that's going to result in Nathaniel just dying, because the amount of value that the Mimic Vat starts generating when things like Thragtusk and Messenger die, which is very hard to overcome.
Yeah. And also, like, his attack with Restoration Angel, like, is relatively safe, because like if Restoration Angel dies, then like things spiral completely out of control with all the flickering that he can do. So, as we see a Blackcliff Cleaves come into play, and we know that Reed is holding a Cavern of Souls and then one mystery card, the Zealous Conscripts that you said earlier. So, and we're going to see another Restoration Angel here.
It's like, you want to use a kill spell on my Blaze Splicer to break this up? That's fine too.
Yeah.
I think that is a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if given enough time, it's an absolute nightmare, especially for zombies. As he just did draw a 5th land and put it into play. I'm not sure if it's an untapped land or not. We're going to see an attack for 6 come across the Reed to put him down to 16. If it's an untapped land, we know he has a Birthing Pod there. Something to the effect of play Birthing Pod, activate it, sacrifice.
If he's got a Bonfire in his hand, I kind of like firing it off for 1 here, because it's pretty hard for me to imagine, maybe 2. It's pretty hard for me to imagine him dying unless it involves that Blood Artist somehow.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, it's a Bonfire for 2 is going to reset those messengers in play, deal them 4. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4 Blood Artist.
No, I was saying just do it for 1.
You just want to do it for 1, just to kill the Blood Artist.
Yeah, it feels like if this game gets away from him somehow, that involves that. It also means he gets to start. You can start vatting the Blood Artist too, which is like if he's just like sitting here on D, it at least gives him some like momentum with the Mimic Vat. Like it puts some pressure on Alawar to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I also know. I mean, Nathaniel has a Birthing Pod in his hand, and the thing is like, when he has Birthing Pod in his hand, and assuming that he has some number of Thragtusk in his deck list, because he is playing green in his deck, like you can sacrifice the Restoration Angel to Birthing Pod. Restoration Angel is going to go underneath the Mimic Vat, and then you have a Thragtusk in play, and then you can like start activating Mimic Vat to do that. I think that that's like a much better play than like just killing the Restoration Angel and a Gravecrawler. Personally, that just feels better to me.
I mean, I guess it depends what else he's doing with the mana that's untapped.
Sure.
So we have another Thragtusk, which means that Alawar actually has actively boarded them in, because he has 1 in the main and then 3 more in the sideboard.
No play on the unstep. Okay, and the land that he did play came into play tap, the Sunpetal Grove, so. Another Blade Splicer drawn to go along with the Birthing Pod in his hand, and what looks to be, and you can confirm this, an Ancient Grudge in Nathaniel's hand, assuming those are in his sideboard.
He has 2 copies of Ancient Grudge.
Okay, so that's what one of the red cards in his hand is, not a Bonfire of the Damned. And we're going to see him tapping 5 mana Thragtusk.
Yes. Mighty fine to play there. I wonder what he was doing the last turn where he just passed with his mana.
The last turn he had his 5th land was a Sunpetal Grove that came into play tapped.
Sure, but why not cast a Birthing Pod or something, you know?
Yeah, I mean, definitely has the opportunity to tap out and play Birthing Pod or play it and activate it, versus bluffing a 3rd Restoration Angel or an instant speed spell.
Yeah.
Like maybe he just wanted to leave Ancient Grudge up.
Sure.
I'm not in love with it. I think he'd rather have a Birthing Pod on the table, but I understand where you're coming from as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and for those of you unaware of the interaction here, you can actually just set the if you kill a messenger with Mimic Vat in play, you can actually just set the messengers underneath the Mimic Vat, which prevents the Undying trigger from happening.
Sure.
So Alawar's been sitting on this Zealous Conscripts for a while, like trying to find a spot to make his move, and he might just be up against the wall at this point. The problem is that that Blade Splicer is just like making attacking so unattractive, because
it's making it unattractive, but the thing that he can do is he can actually, with the Zealous Conscripts, take the actual Blade Splicer and then like shove in with his guys. and the Blood Artist triggers are going to kind of go nuts.
Or you could just not. You can just also not block. You can actually afford to kind of take that hit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he is at 19, but
Right.
I mean,
You just die on the way back.
That's true too.
So the 2 Restoration Angels are in again, knocking him down to 9. Oh, maybe it's not Bonfire in him. Maybe it's an Inferno Titan.
It looks to be an Inferno Titan, yeah.
Which he cannot cast both. Short on mana. Yeah, he has a Cavern on Giant, right? So it's just an issue of quantity of mana, not quality. A second Blade Splicer, so now there's 4 Golems in play, and that Zealous Conscripts is like in the hand is just doing less and less. Like the board's getting way too cluttered up.
Yeah, every turn that goes by, the card just gets worse.
Yeah. And Nathaniel's still sitting on Birthing Pod in his hand too, so.
The thing here for Raid is he doesn't have a card in his deck like a Killing Wave.
Yeah, Killing Wave would be awesome.
Or like a Bonfire of the Damned. He doesn't have anything like that to draw to. He just has the Zealous Conscripts that he's been holding for a while.
There it is.
I'm interested to see what he's going to target. It's going to be the Thrag Tusk.
Okay.
So he's just going to attack in. The attack feels a little bit desperate.
Yeah, I mean, this is basically a check to see if Nathaniel like just knows how to block, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing. Yeah, the fact that these golems also all have first strike kind of prevents a lot of Blood Artist shenanigans too, potentially.
I mean, it looks like, just from my count really quickly, if he's just going to use the golems to block 4 Blood Artist triggers from that, 3 damage gets through from the Messenger, that's 7, 2 more from the Gravecaller is 9, plus Messenger coming back.
So we're looking at 8 damage, 9, 10, 11, 12 is what I count right now.
12, he can afford to block with a Blade Splicer for sure. Potentially.
Well, the problem with blocking, I mean, I don't know if there's anything like this in Alawar's list. The problem with blocking with the Blade Splicer, oh no, he would actually have to be able to kill both of them at instant speed.
Yeah.
For like the House of Cards to collapse here, so.
So this way, it looks like it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, yeah.
10 isn't 19, last I checked. And that's what it looks like. He is going to get 3 Beast tokens. He is also going to gain
quite a bit of life.
6 life. Or some number of life. I'm fairly sure it's 6, but
yeah, but now we have Mimic Vat. We also have Mimic Vat on Thrag Tusk, I would assume. As a thing that's going to start happening now.
As long as he doesn't miss it.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little surprised that he didn't, like I feel like he probably should have put a Golem in front of one of the Messengers instead of his own Thrag Tusk.
Golem in front of one of the Messengers. Sure.
It's like you get 1 less Beast trigger, and you get your own Thrag Tusk back, obviously, which matters here.
Yeah. The Mimic Vat is not...
Yeah, what's up with the...
It's not hiding the Thrag Tusk yet.
He looks like he's pointing like he's contemplating a trigger.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't resolved normal damage yet, except Blade Splicer's still there on the Dross Messenger, so we haven't missed the opportunity.
So I guess we're still trying to, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a question of the timing, or
he wants his Thrag Tusk short instead of his own.
Sure. So it's a lot of life, but it's not really getting him anywhere now. And now the Mimic Vat is online, which is the real concern.
Which is the real problem, yeah.
They are a combo with one another.
So smart.
Because it comes into play and then it leaves play.
You're the smartest person I know. As he plays a Razorverge Thicket. Do we have a lethal? 14. 1, 2, 3 blockers, 4 blockers. Just trying to see if there's a lethal attack here at all, because the Mimic Vat creature does have haste too.
I think we're short of lethal, right? Like he's he's able to chump block pretty effectively. Alawar if he wants to.
Yeah.
No, I think you still just want to play it slow. Like just attack with your Restoration Angels, make a Thrag Tusk. You know.
Sure.
Just keep your head.
Keep
just,
grinding him down.
Yeah. You've already seen 2 Thrag Tusk. You've seen the Azel's conscripts. Like he's running out of impactful draws.
Yeah, like the next draw could be, you know, Grave Crawler or, you know,
Right.
Diregraph Ghoul, just something that has really no effect on the game. You know, at this point, again, Nathaniel is relatively far ahead, but you know, he has to just calculate everything that the Blood Artist can do. You know, like his tokens having first strike means that when Reed attacks with a bunch of his guys, like those beast tokens, for example, it looks like a throwaway attack, but it's really just like, all right, dome you for 4.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. As long as he's able to play and balance that, he should be okay.
Yeah, I don't know what he's really more.
This is a
Bonfire for 1, which prevents him from using the VAT this turn. This is the play that I would have run out.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, this is the play that I would have wanted to make several turns back. Because again, the Blood Artist is really the only thing complicating the board at all, or putting Nathaniel in any sort of risk of getting killed.
That is going to deal Nathaniel 2 points of damage, putting him down to 7. Putting Raid, he's going to net +1, so it's going to put him up to 15. And then any good attacks here. Now the Blood Artist is off the table.
Yeah, I think he's gonna hold back on D maybe for like 1 more turn.
Okay.
And then start to turn it on.
Okay. Basically turn it on when he can activate the Mimic Vat.
Yeah.
Okay.
No reason to rush at this point. Again, you have inevitability, so just do not take any damage inside of combat.
See what this is. I think that's another Blood Artist.
You just drew a Blood Artist?
I think that's like a very good draw. Gravecrawler comes back.
I mean, the Blood Artist, he still can't alpha because of the Blade Splicer. Or he can alpha, but it doesn't kill him.
I mean, depending on how he blocks, right?
Yes, Nathaniel could mess up his blocks. That's the thing. But on board, he can cover it.
I actually don't think that's true. I mean, Blade Splicer has to die.
That's not true. He has his 2 Restoration Angels back on D. There's 5 attackers here. He has 4 different first strikers plus 3 4s. He can just eat all of Alawar's guys, set the messengers underneath the Mimic Vat.
Oh, okay. If he's,
and then he just dies on the crackback.
So,
right?
like, is that like so? The messenger with the Mimic Vat thing, like, is that like? Is that a trick that you think Nathaniel knows?
I mean, that's the big question, right? Like, I actually suspect that might not be the case because of the way that he blocked last turn. Like I said, if I was in Nathaniel's position, I would have much rather have kept my own Thrag Tusk, let that come through, and get one of the messengers out than vice versa, the way that he did block.
Sure.
To me, I believe that implies that he's not aware that Mimivac can actually cut that stuff off. But like I said, I'm not positive. The fact that he's tanking on this block too is suspicious too, right? Like, if he had that information, then like the block's super simple.
Yeah, like exactly. Like the reason that the fact that he's tanking on this block means that to me that he doesn't know the interaction with Mimic Vat and like stopping the Undying trigger from happening. Because the way that you laid it out, like, I don't know, it makes sense and it seems rather simplistic. But if he doesn't have the information that you have and the knowledge of how the trick works, then like
he's just dead.
Then he's just dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Blood Artist was like the best draw in the world.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
Interesting.
You got to keep blocking, right?
I mean,
well, maybe the concern is he's worried if he. No, there's no way if his Blade Splicer dies at instant speed, he just loses. Like, there's too many Blood Artist triggers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 right now with the way he's blocked.
Where are you getting?
Blood Artist. So Beast dies, Beast dies, Beast dies, Beast dies. That's 3. Blade Splicer dies.
All these combats involve one creature dying, so that's 5 points, right? So now.
And are you counting messenger coming back into play?
Well, yeah. I mean, if he's unaware of that, then he's dead. If he's aware of that, then he survives.
Okay.
Looks like that messenger just came into play. Yeah, Alawar's pointing at his Blood Arts triggers like, yeah, all these guys are trading.
Yeah, I think that's it. That Blade Splicer dies.
Yeah,
that's
and then there it is.
Raid Alawar. 2-1.